Let's take a press conference happening the way it goes down. The president and or press secretary and the press corps convene. And of course he says, okay, Jim Acosta of CNN, go Jim. And Jim Acosta says, Mr. President, Putin, Russia, Putin, exclamation point, Putin, comma, semicolon, Putin, Russia. Election, Putin, comma, Putin, Russia, election, comma, Putin, comma, dash, exclamation point. And I have a follow-up. Putin, election, comma, Putin, election, Assange, WikiLeaks, Putin, comma, Russia. Okay. Now, there is no accountability right now, is there? None at all. No accountability. It's unfair. Because any misrepresentation or allegation has no consequence, no heat. But, and myself and Mark Masters till 3 o'clock in the morning last night, and I was tired, let me tell you. And Mark had told me this when he arrived. He says, don't tell me right now. I've got to think of the speech for the first night. He goes, let's create the equilibrium press accountability policy. Interesting. Equilibrium press accountability policy. What is that? Well, all CEOs, they run and own a parent company, do they not? Now, a parent company is that company of their media subsidiaries. So such as CNN, for instance. CNN has a parent company who has a CEO that is accountable for the whole thing, right? So, and that CNN and the Time Warner, let's say it's Time Warner Cable, and if that merger goes through, AT&T Mobile. Okay. Now, these CEOs and the parent companies will now be held accountable and get a level of heat that the president gets when one of the staff or cabinet members make an error or misrepresentation. And the corporate parent must suffer the consequence. Right? Does that make sense? Is that fair? Okay. Do you realize, now, let me put it this way. So now we have a new press conference. The president has the press conference, and now he goes, okay, let's see, let's have the Time Warner Cable and possibly AT&T Mobile. Jim Acosta, go Jim. Or how about the Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Washington Post, go Post. Or how about the Comcast Universal, MSNBC, Joe Scarborough, Joey, go, hit it. What happens then? Trump voters represent 100% of the net profits of every single division, of every single parent company, of every single media outlet. Do you know that? Think about that. So knowing this, and we know this, 84% of the red counties were for Trump. Nearly 60 million people. Think of that. So knowing this, do you think that Jim Acosta, the dear man, and others, if they're called upon and rebranded by the new equilibrium press accountability policy, do you think they'll think twice about gumming our president's agenda for the first 100 days and the will of the people? Will they think twice about this? I'm going to answer for you. The raw force of the American people voting with them, with their pocketbooks, will completely interdict the subversive, elitist agenda of these companies' media divisions that are running amok. That's the possible outcome, okay? This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And the media, which is a fourth estate, should be held accountable by the people. They have freedom of the press, and that's so important in our nation. No one is saying anything else. But there has to be accountability, because in my lifetime, as an actor for over a year, I've seen the media distort things, even things I've said. I've had a personal experience with that, where they distort something or misrepresent something you may have said to make it look like something else. So, in using this press policy, instead of the president doing trips to go around the press, this policy allows him to rebrand the press and let the American people bring consequences directly to the press's parent companies, and that's fair. Is it not? Okay? My dear friends, there once was a time in America, and I remember that, when the newspapers had no parent companies. A time when the news was held accountable by its subscribers or by the Nielsen ratings, whatever it might be. I remember those days. I remember watching the news on the little black and white set with the earphones when you had only 3 networks. And you felt for a minute, and you young kids probably don't remember that, but you felt a certain sense of absolute honesty and integrity with the press. Now, there may have been things going on, but you didn't feel what I feel today, what I see today. I do not see the same thing. Those days are now gone, and a new set of conflict of interest transparency measures must be applied to the corporate media. This is the solution, and with such a solution, how long do you think CNN's Jim Acosta and the other companies would last? My dear friends, it's up to us. We have to be the wings. We have to be, there's hawks out there trying to peck out the eyes of our president. We have to be the first line of defense. He asked it the other night in his speech, did he not? Watch our backs. That's been told. Great Mike Pence. All of you, God bless you. Thank you for having me here. God bless America. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.